Hello, BariAftercare friends. Welcome to another episode of BariAftercare, the podcast. And we're calling this episode a BariAftercare Year in Review. And we have a second title, Create the Life You Dream of Living in 2025. So my good friend Laura Preston is here today, and she hasn't been here for a long time, much to my chagrin, because the woman is the busiest person I know. And I know some busy people. I am a busy people. She is a busier people. Hi, my friend.
Hello, friend. I don't think that's true. You are a crazy busy girl.
We are crazy busy women. We are.
We are.
Sheesh. I tell you what, I've missed having you on the podcast because it's always much fun. And you are the woman with the most knowledge in the bariatric world that I know. So we're just going to have a light and fun episode today. How about that?
I'm super excited about it. It is going to be a good time because it is time to catch up.
It is time to catch up. And I know some of what's been going on in your world, but people need to know what you've been busy doing. And if you don't brag on you, I'm going to. So we'll see if you do that on your own. Otherwise, I'll beat you to that punch.
I do want to show you something because it's so funny and it's going to be probably backwards, and I'm praying it doesn't fall off. 3 years ago for Christmas, my girlfriend Nadia bought me this board, and I put these little letters on, and it says,
Oh,
create the life you dream of living. This has been in my office for 3 years. So when you said that
seriously?
just now, I swear to God, it has been because it's what I believe. And I've always believed it's up to us to create the life you want. You've got to decide whether it's crazy goals and dreams, rabbit holes, whatever it is. It's up to us to create it. So when you just said that, I looked over and I just started laughing because I'm like, I live by that
Well,
mantra.
girl, you get the credit for it because I don't even know if you knew you were saying something really profound, but we were just texting one day back and forth about something. And you had those words in there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a great book title. And it's a great theme for BariAftercare for the new year. Create the life you dream. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. Isn't that what we all need to be working on? I think the
I
older I
think
get,
so.
the more I realize that I don't want to leave any stone unturned.
I know. And the thing is life is fast and it's hard and it's crazy. And I just think it gets worse. Like the world is getting crazier, So it's like there's just more demands and there's more conveniences. Like I shopped on Amazon today for Christmas. Like there's more conveniences, but we have less time, less
Mhm.
energy. Depression is high, anxiety is high, frustrations are high. And it's like, how did we get here? And how do
Yeah.
we accomplish anything? Like, how do we get things done?
1 minute at a time, I'm telling you. And for me, there's a lot of lists involved.
Right, right. 100%.
Golly.
I wake up every day and go, what day is it? And what's burning? And what are the gotta do it today? What is the gotta
Yes,
doing today? Because we
yes,
got to
yes,
start
yes.
there. Eat the frog, right? Get in
I tell
there,
you,
figure it out.
I had a little moment of panic the other day because my son-in-law sent me a picture. There was snow here in Georgia 5 years ago, and he sent me a picture of the kids sledding.
Oh,
And I think it's the last time we've had snow, anything that amounted to anything. But I was like, oh my gosh, look how little the kids are. And Graham, little gummy bear, is going to be 13 in February. And I'm
I
just
know.
like freaking out. Like, how is time going so quickly?
I
Ah,
know.
gosh.
And we
I
can't
tell
take
you,
it for granted in our own
not at
lives or
all.
the people that are important to us. Like it is, I know like 2 years ago, you and I had conversations and I was trying to make some decisions in life. And I said, Connie, I'm realigning my priorities. And the first year was really hard. Like, you had a wonderful event at your house and you're like, you have to come, you have to come. And I'm like, Connie, I can't. It doesn't align with this, this, and this. And it was so hard. And it was so hard to stick to it because it was like I could say it out loud, but people just, but I found that if I stayed true, it's like second nature now. Like
It is.
you
You are
train people
amazing.
around and it's like, don't even ask. Like clarity is kindness. You know the answer because I am hyper focused. Because if not, you just don't. you don't get it done. You don't get
Yeah.
it done.
I have been so impressed watching you set boundaries and stick to them. I'm like, dang, this girl means business. In fact, for your birthday last year, I contacted another friend of yours and I said, come on, we're going to go. And I thought, I've heard Laura loud and clear. I don't want anybody, anything. I'm like, there will be a time enough. But I
Yeah.
thought, no, I'm not going to disregard what I keep hearing her say is critically important. And that's part of the reason, you know, I would have you on the podcast every week. But
I know.
I know how busy you've been, and we'll get into what some of that has been about as we go along. But I do want to say that 2 years ago, when you were realigning your priorities, how grateful I was to you for coming on board and helping me with BariAftercare, because you and I had a conversation and I was in complete meltdown mode with BariAftercare because I was, there are so many areas that are important to me, and BariAftercare is one of them. But I am not, my strengths are not in the organization of an online program, and it's not in I just was so lost, and you've always been so good at suggestions for what would be beneficial, and I just came unglued, and I was just like, Laura, I don't have the skills, I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the time, I don't have any idea how to go about doing that. And it wasn't long after that that you said, you know what, I'd like to help you. And that was your way of staying involved in the community because you were spreading out your life doing some other really important things. So it's one of the things I'm most grateful for in the decade.
But that's how I feel too, because the thing is when my life abruptly changed, what, 4 years ago, overnight, it was like, I have to change priorities. I had some other things, and we can talk about it in my personal life that became huge, important factors that were unexpected. And it's like, I had to figure out, so like you were having meltdown, but at the same time, I was like, how do I stay in this community? Because I believe there is nobody else in this community you will find that believes in aftercare. It's in my bones. I'm going to
Yeah.
be 20 years post-op. 20? That makes me so old.
Oh,
20 years post-op in March of 2025. But it's like, I know the only way I've held on to the things I've held on is because I'm in community. And it looks different for everybody. I mean, I don't live, die, and breathe it. I don't consume the influence. I don't have time for all of that. But I am in support group once a month. I am in every day with a daily affirmation and with weekly accountability because I need that even at 20 years out. That's
correct.
how it allowed me to reprioritize my life because every week it's in front of me. Every week, what am I going to be accountable for this week? Every week, I put my health and wellness in the front. So that was a gift from you to me. You gave me a home of where I could nest and where I could do the things that I've always done in a smaller capacity and stay engaged, but not under a gleaming, huge public. Like I had to refigure out my entire world. And so that's
Mhm.
a big thank you to you because it's like you needed help organizing it, but I needed help to keep my creativity, but also keep my weight, keep my health, my wellness, and everything I believe and focus. So thank you.
And you know what's been really fun? Like Kelsey, my daughter, has worked with me for over a decade. And it's always been so easy. And it's the same with you. It's like you'll shoot me a text here or there, and we just kind of flow that way. We
Yeah.
don't have to have these long drawn out conversations, and we get our things in order. And it's just been such a boon for Barry Aftercare having you a part of it. So, and we're going to keep growing this sucker, right?
We
Year
are. I'm so
2025.
excited. I'm so
Great.
excited about 2025. There's so many things we did this year inside Barry Aftercare. Like I literally did support group. I don't even know what day it is. I did support group inside Barry Aftercare on Tuesday night. And it is so funny because support group is 1 hour. We were 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh, oh my gosh.
And they
That
all
is
stayed
so
like
awesome.
But we have the best conversations because my support group is about lifestyle and it's about the real things going on. Like, I'm not saying how many grams of protein. I'm not a dietitian. Like, I know my lane. And the thing is we talked about the holidays. Like, it was a December support group. And I said, we're going to talk about traditions. And we laughed and we talked about the nasty
Oh.
things grandma made every year. And we posted pictures of traditions. And we talked about how we can bring traditions back and create new
Oh,
ones. And I mean, we had the best time. And two of the ladies that joined it didn't feel good. Somebody had a migraine. And they're like, I just came on hoping it makes me feel better. And at the end, they were both laughing. They're like, I feel a million
oh.
times better because that is space. It is like minded people. And we talked about all the things stress of Christmas. Are you decorating for the holidays? You know, what were the traditions? We laughed, we cried, we had memories. And I hung up and I was like, this is why I'm able to keep my life in check under priorities
Oh
because I
gosh.
check in and dial in. So we had a great support group on Tuesday night.
That is so beautiful. I love that. And, that's part of what you bring to bariatric. And as you and I always say, we go beyond bariatrics because it is about lifestyle. Yes, we want to help keep you on track through the bariatric journey, but my God, life is an adventure, as you say. Let's have an adventure, not a journey. Let's make this journey adventurous. And in
Yep.
bariatric care, we cover so much more than, like you said, yeah, all those things are important. The vitamins and the water and all those things, of course, and we're going to help keep you on track with that. But we're going to talk about life.
Because life is mental health. And last night we were talking about that last night. And I said, we were talking about lifestyle. And I said, it's the holidays, we're stressful. No matter what it is, it takes us to emotions and emotions takes us to bad food choices, which puts on, makes our chronic disease flare up. But we talked about that we don't give lifestyle enough credit because how we live our lives, how we deal with anxiety and depression and chaos and emotions, all of that for us that have struggled with weight goes into the kitchen and goes into food.
Yep,
Whether
always.
it's addiction, not all of us, not all of us are quote food addicts,
Right,
but we don't, you can have genes for obesity in your body, but it never gets, people drink alcohol. Doesn't mean you're going to become an alcoholic, right?
right,
But when
right.
it becomes your source and when it becomes your way of dealing with the hard and the heavy, whether it's grief or emotion or whatever it is, I said at the end of the day, at the end of this year, and we were all talking about it, that every lifestyle video or things I've done, all of it is the layers of how we're dealing with the hard stuff.
Exactly. And speaking of hard stuff, you know that well. Curious,
Yes.
given that even in January, things were stressful in your life with the things that have gotten increasingly stressful. What was your word in bariatric care for the year?
So, word of the year is something I have done for probably 15, 20 years. Like, I have a list of them. I've done a ton of
I
them. And
love
I've
that.
done the word believe, I've done create. Like, I have little blocks back in my window that spell create.
So
I've
cool.
always done word of the year. And it's kind of like an umbrella for me. Like, this is the word I want to saturate my life with this year and be aware of. And I was really struggling in January. I had gone back to school full time at 50 something years old. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And it was brutal. The first two semesters were brutal. Um, and then I was having a meltdown in January because I just didn't know how I was going to navigate. Like, I couldn't do the course load as many classes. My father has Alzheimer's, and I have been caring for him for the last 2 years. I can't believe it's almost been 2 years since I started helping take him to a doctor once in a while. I'm now his primary caregiver. And um, I sat there in January and thought, I'm a year into school. I don't know how I'm going to do this course load. Should I just quit? What am I going to do? And I just was so overwhelmed. And I chose the word, get ready, glimmer. It was
Ah,
like the weirdest word for me because I always like power words like control or, I always like adventure, like these big words that just blow up on vision boards. They're super easy. But I just felt like I was hanging on every day and looking for the glimmers, like looking for just there was no light at the end of the tunnels. I had a dog I almost lost last year in December. Literally this time last year, we were in crisis mode. I thought I would lose her before the first of the year. So in January, I have a dog that is on palliative care, is losing her ability to walk. I have a dad who's was diagnosed with dementia, 2.5 years ago, and we're now full blown Alzheimer. And I just was like, I have to find glimmers every day. I have to, because there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I have a long ways to go in school. I don't know. I just do my best every semester. I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my best. And, my dad's care is increased. The dog is increased. And I just felt like I can't do a power word. I don't have it in me. And I picked the word glimmer, and I didn't even know, like, I don't even know what this means. Like, I just know I got to wake up every day, and I can't look towards the end. I can't reverse engineer, because there isn't an end to a lot of this. The end is going to
Right.
be the end.
Right.
So I picked the word glimmer because I was like, I can't do the big. I got to look for the microscopic little to keep my sanity.
I love that. And you have been so fun about using your word in everyday life and in your posts. And I'll tell you, my favorite glimmer that you shared this year was the lady in the neighborhood with the twinkly lights.
That is so funny. So we're baking cookies and we're in middle. Whenever you listen to this podcast, we're like in full blown Christmas mode, and we are literally baking cookies tomorrow. And part of our plan is tomorrow night, I want to take cutout cookies and gingerbread cookies. And my mom and I and my best friend Clinton are going to go down and knock on her door,
Oh my.
because she was pure magic. Like, she is 80 years old. She's estranged from her children. Her and her husband live in the most magical little house. It looks like Hansel and Gretel house. It's got a crooked roof. Like, literally, it's supposed to look that way. And it's back on a river. And at night, she has thousands of solar light sticks jammed in the ground. And at night, when you drive by her house, her entire world lights up. Like, it looks like her yard's infested with fireflies. And I literally
Oh,
was
that's
like,
so cool.
you're pure magic. Like, and I literally pulled in her driveway one day, knocked on her door, and said, "Hi, I live up the road from you, and I'm obsessed with your house. And I just need to tell you, you are pure magic." She literally invited me in, told me to take off my shoes, and I was there for 3 hours. Like, it
Oh
was,
my gosh.
and she's
How
invited me
amazing.
down, like, insane. But she was a glimmer. I was like, this woman is just pure magic. Her house she's magical.
And
And
here's
that
what's
was
magic about you. You don't just notice and admire and take in the glimmer. You go and you tell the
pull in
world
the driveway.
what a gift you gave her. Holy moly. That's beautiful.
Well, she is absolutely delightful. And I love that you ran, because I thought, what are you going to say right now? Like, I didn't know what you were going to say, because I really don't spend a lot of time I don't have time for social media. I'm either in the community, or I'm in school, or I'm at my dad's. Like, I
Right.
literally am living part-time at my dad's house right now. And it's like, I laugh, because I'm like, I have two homes. I have
Yeah.
a cabin in the woods on the
Mhm.
river, right? The country
With your dad.
property.
Mhm.
Um, but I just have had to find glimmers. And so my word of the year this year served me beyond well,
That's
because there's a
awesome.
lot of days I would literally, when I first chose the word inside a women's group I belong to, I literally would post every day my glimmer. It was a challenge for me.
I
It was a
love that.
challenge. I had to train myself, because I was so in the dirt. Like, what is my glimmer? I've been doing homework for 8 hours, and my dad's called me
Mhm.
15 times. And, I got to stop,
Mhm.
take the dog outside to express her. It's snowing, it's pure ice. Like, what is the glimmer today, Laura? But it would be the
Mhm.
most random thing.
I know, and it's a great way to look at life. It's like no matter what's going on, you find that glimmer, something that makes you feel shiny, something that gives you that hope or just
What was your
gratitude.
word this year?
Well, my word, interestingly, was expand. And I say interestingly because I'm kind of drawing in, in some ways. I'm less involved in the bariatric community events, less traveling, less speaking. And yet my word was expand. And it was related to um, my hope for BariAftercare. And it did serve me well because We have a new program that contacted us and is using BariAftercare. We have another program that is offering BariAftercare to their patients and promoting it. They're not using it for their entire program yet. And what was the other thing I was going to say about that? I can't remember. But I do. Oh, and BariAftercare. I'm kind of closing in as far as the speaking and the traveling, but I want to expand BariAftercare because it's my passion and it's your passion, the aftercare stuff. So it did serve well. It was kind of like the bariatric surgeries are down a lot because of the GLP-1s, but I thought it doesn't matter. I want to expand what we're doing because it is so critical to what people need, regardless of how they choose to lose weight. So it was a good word for me.
But I also, as your friend, have to say to you, you expand it. Like you're expanding the programming within the walls of bariatric care. But in the bariatric industry, and this is probably not going to be a popular thing, but we all know I'm good for not popular. The bariatric community is a very small community, but it's big and it's really noisy. And everybody wants to be the next and greatest and the biggest celebrity and the most famous surgeon and the dietitian that's got the most followers and the most likes. Like it's very noisy. So
Mhm.
for you to say expand was your word of the year. I've watched as your friend, you've gotten smaller and more narrow, but you're going deeper and expanding within the capsule. But you
Mhm.
also turned off all that noisy crap. You
Yeah.
know, you don't need to go to every single conference and tell the same story and be everywhere and be seen by everywhere because it's really noisy. And I truly have always felt
Mhm.
that people that are meant to cross paths with you or me or whatever will find us. And
Yeah.
if we resonate, they're going to stick in, they're going to stay. Like, we don't need to be around with all that noise and have the booth everywhere and do all the things everywhere. It's saturated enough. There's a lot of
Exactly.
noise, but you also on your personal life have expanded like your friendships and all the
Oh, you're
extra with
right.
your high school friends and all the
You're
adventures
right.
and correcting all the things. Like you have been on more little trips and
Yes.
done more magical things with your grandkids. So it's like, I feel like you as a woman, it doesn't need to be loud and big and everywhere. Like you might have introverted a little bit, but within you've expanded within what's important in your life.
Well, that is a good reminder. Thank you for that. You're right. Yeah.
And that's
Ah,
why I think when we do word of the year, last year when we did the workshop series, like it is so powerful. We were in support group this week and the girls said, "Are we doing those workshops again?" And I said, "We are." And they're like,
oh,
"Oh my God, last year she bought a vision board and she goes, and they were buy one, get one. I already have my board." And my heart blew up because I was like, I always say I drink my own Kool-Aid because I do I practice what
yes,
I
you
preach.
do.
Like and that's why I love the fact that we both just shared our words and how they resonated with us. Like, because I think sometimes it's someone else around you that sees you not, from
Yes.
the outside. But when you
Yes.
bring those words in and you make them part of your life and it's a constant and you think about them, and we do that in Aftercare. What is your word of the year? We think words matter. We've done tons of words that I think that when you share a lot, people will mirror back to you like that was a great word. I'm going to use your word next year. And I think it makes people think about words differently.
You know what, Laura? This is the first time I ever did a word of the year, and I am grateful to you for that. And I thought long and hard about that word, and it came to me, and I thought, no, I don't know because I don't really want to expand. But then I thought about what are the things I do want to expand. I
Right.
didn't want to be out and about and here and there. It wears me out. And I thought there are I'm so grateful you reminded me of that. That's beautiful.
When you
Thank you
keep
for
your
sharing that.
priorities for the things you love and you can expand within that, you know what I mean? I've always loved the bariatric industry. Like because it's so personal. I have the chronic disease of
Sure.
obesity. And I always said, I want to be the person I wish I would have met when I was getting ready to have surgery.
Yeah,
I
that's
wish
great.
and that's always been from day one. It was like, I want to live this adventure I hate the word journey. We all know that. But
Mhm.
this adventure of my life, I want to live it loud and proud, the highs, the lows, the good, the bad. But I want to be the person that's truthful. I don't want to be the bariatric patient at 20 years that disappear, that no longer, whether I have 100 pounds to regain, 10 pounds to regain, no matter where I'm at. But I also want to talk about why I have it and where it came from and how I dealt with it, because that's what the real nitty gritty is. So I think words matter. And I think when you set, it's like setting an intention for the year.
Yes.
And I also, to close that up, will say, I believe your word finds you.
Oh, I think so too. If you
I,
listen for it.
yep. And I always do this crazy year-end review where I go back in my cell phone and I go back to January and I look at all the pictures and I delete and
Oh,
delete.
I
But
love
I make a
that.
list as I'm doing it and I'm like, I forgot I went there, or oh my God, I forgot that happened, or oh my God. And I do this year in review of like what books, I mean, I keep these running lists within my vision board world. And at the end of the year, it's easy for me to say high, low, good, bad, went here, did like a recap of my year. But in doing that, the word of the year always comes out of it.
That
So it's
is
like the whole
so
process.
cool. So, what were some of your highs this year? Before you look back through your camera.
Well, I mean, it's funny because as we were prepping and talking about what we were going to talk about, the highs and lows are really easy for me to make a huge laundry list. Highs have felt different, and it's hard for me to talk about highs. And it's almost like if I change the word from high to success, what were my successes this year? It's easier to talk about that
Okay, do it
because I
however you
always
want.
think about highs as being like euphoria, like these
Mm,
wonderful, exciting, like,
mm,
oh, I went to Paris or I went and did this and did that. And for my life right now,
mhm,
that's not realistic, you know? I
mhm.
mean, some of my biggest successes or achievements, I would say for me personally, is one is my accountability inside of BariAftercare. And I know that sounds crazy, but I literally did scale shots every Monday. There are 50 of them inside
I
BariAftercare because
love it.
I believe in leading by example. And when I talk about accountability, I showed up in BariAftercare every week, every Monday with a scale shot, with my vitamin prep, because we know I'm a diehard vitamin girl, because it's not negotiable. And I have been monitoring my blood pressure all year long. And that came from you. Thank you very much. I every
You're
morning when I
welcome.
put that cuff on, I'm like, thank you, Connie Stapleton, you know. But being part of my schooling, you know, watching my blood pressure and my stress and my anxiety, it's been like a little science project. And I shared it because I said, I'm doing
Yeah,
this for a year. And I'm going to
yeah,
manage this because I need to understand my blood pressure tells me my anxiety. It tells me my emotions.
yes.
I've learned a lot from it, but I am proud and I have been successful at showing up and being accountable every single week. I've been in school full time. It feels like forever. I'm working on getting my medical assisting certification. I will have letters behind my name, ladies and gentlemen.
They are not
Cheers.
gonna change the awesomeness that you are.
And I have pulled straight A's all the way through. So I am very proud of that. I have no idea how,
Absolutely.
because it's been horrible. Pharmacology, medical terminology, like it's been horrible.
Anatomy.
Anatomy, like every body part, every giving shots, drawing blood, like God help us. And, you know, but I just kept saying, C's get degrees, C's get degrees. I kept
And you
saying
got
that to
all
myself.
A's.
And it's been very funny because we've had these crazy projects in school where you had to pick a topic. And I'm going to tell you all right now, I'm sharing this with you for a purpose because I had to do a chronic disease for my, what was the disease of the human body class. We studied every body category and every disease within every body category. So we had a list of like 25 chronic diseases and diseases we could choose. And I lost my mind because obesity wasn't on it. And not
Yeah.
only was it not on it, but it had like a paragraph in the entire textbook.
So crazy. Like
So
one of the most prominent chronic diseases in our country.
I lost my godforsaken mind, and because this is very Laura Preston and it's my curse. I reached out to the professor and said, I want to do a disease that's not on the list. I had to do an 8 to 10 minute presentation, and I think it was 27 minutes. I got out my ASMBS textbook, my giant obesity textbook. And the beginning of the presentation, I was like, this is the paragraph in our book. And here's a giant textbook. This is how serious this chronic disease. And I got on my soapbox and I just went to town. But that's been very, like, I literally feel like I educated my entire class because we all had to watch each other's presentations. But it's so fascinating because I just last week interviewed for my internship. And I'm very excited because I'm doing my internship inside of a bariatric
Oh
practice.
my gosh, that's exactly where you need to be.
So I just feel like the fact that I looked for glimmers and I believe clarity is kindness. And I went into this knowing it's like a needle in a haystack. I could be an
Mhm.
MA anywhere in any practice, family medicine, kids, pediatricians, whatever. But like there's one practice near me. You know what I mean? Like it was like there,
Jeez,
and the stars are just aligning. And that's
that's
why
a
I
high.
just like glimmers, staying focused. What are your priorities? What are your passions? I want to create a life I dream. I want to be able to do what I'm doing, always have done. I
Yes.
just don't want to schlep vitamins. Like that was how I could work in the industry. I never woke up and said, I want to be the vitamin girl. I'm grateful
Right.
because I dealt with deficiencies a lot, but I
Right.
never wanted to be just the vitamin. I never was just the vitamin girl.
No.
So
No, you're never just any one thing, woman.
I'm going to plug
You
us in
you
because
know
I'm
what?
getting,
I'm glad that we're talking about this because you have had some really nice highs in in addition to the crazy amount of stress that your year has brought to you. But, you know, the effort you put in got you some great outcomes, which is why effort is so important. I mean, the outcomes were the straight A's. The outcome was you feel good about how you're caring for your father. You feel good about the fact that you set boundaries around, no, my dad and my dog and my school. This is what my priorities are. So, I mean, it's difficult, and yet you are handling it beautifully.
well, thank you. It's been very challenging, but I know being focused on my health and wellness because I've always said I can't care for him if I'm falling apart. You know what
Right.
I mean? I can't, if I'm not taking care of myself, how can I take care of him? How can I carry
Mhm.
around this dog? How can
Right.
I? So it's just been a balance. But I also have, another parent I live next door to. I have a mom and a stepdad that are still
Yep.
there. So it's been literally my priorities totally were health and wellness first because it's the oxygen mask. If I'm not healthy,
Exactly.
how can I care? And then
Yep.
it's been literally my parents and my dog in school. Like that's been my
Yeah.
entire life. I have not traveled. I have not been on vacation. I mean, I don't leave my house in longer
Yeah.
than 2-hour increments because of my dog. Like it's
Yeah.
just been another animal, but
Yeah.
you can still find the glimmers. You can still
Absolutely. And
find the
there are
joy.
seasons of life, right? This is the season of your life, and I am, I think about and I listen and I think about the young moms and when my kids were growing up, there was no travel for me then. There was, it was the school and the games and the cheerleading and the band and all the things. And then as soon as my kids were out of the nest, my mother moved in. And
Yep.
I cared for her for 7 years, and she was in my home for 7 years, and so then that was the season of my life, and then I started doing a lot of the traveling and speaking, and now I'm at a season of my life where, you know, I want to continue to work and continue to pour my creative energy into BariAftercare, but I want to enjoy a lot of the hard work that, the effort into the kids and into the grandkids and into the marriage, which
Yep.
took quite a bit of effort. Marriage is not easy, and
No.
so my highs this year did have a lot to do with travel. And that's kind of the season of life we're in. And, but I'm with you. First of all, health. I had, for the first 4 or 5 months of the year, I had some health
Good kid.
scares that turn out to be all great and wonderful. Thank you. I'm glad, grateful. And then the reconnections that you reminded me of. That has been one of the biggest highs for me this year. I have reconnected with some childhood friends, and it has been, I can't even describe the hole that has filled in my life. And with another really good friend that I went to school with, and our paths parted ways for almost a decade. And it's as though no time has passed. And so, um, but we did do, Steve and I went on a spring trip to the national parks and got uh, pedal, those e-bikes. Everywhere
Yes.
we went, we were e-biking. And then we took an entire family, kids, grandkids, cruise. That was insane. Usually when I go on a cruise, I relax. I was so exhausted after that cruise in such a joyful way because they did everything on that cruise ship. It was a
Yep.
joy to see. And then Steve and I went on our Northern Lights trip and got to see the Northern Lights, which were more spectacular than I could have imagined. And I
Yep.
got to go out and record with Tabitha. So that was good. I mean, it's the connections with
Yep.
people that are really important at this time in my life. And those are pretty much the highs of my year with the
Well, and a
connections with
lot of
people.
times too, some of the lows bring you the highs. And that's the
Yeah.
hardest part because, with my dad's Alzheimer's, my dad and I, like my mom and I have been attached at the hip forever. We went to Italy together. Like, my dad and I had a rough relationship for a lot of years. And it's like, I'm not the one. You know what I mean? Like my dad and my brother were best friends, and my dad was married, and I have stepsisters. And like, this role I'm playing, like if I had to say to you, it's the furthest from anything I would ever conceived of. I mean, I bought a house next door to my mom. My dad lives
Right.
an hour away from me.
Yeah.
But it's like through that, it's brought me back to a relationship with my brother I didn't have that we're having right now.
Oh.
It's brought me back to, like, my word is glimmer, obviously for the year, but some of the lows of the year have been the progression of the Alzheimer's and the capabilities he hasn't driven this year. He doesn't I do all the grocery shopping, I do all the but there were things that he loved that we brought to life. Like
Oh.
I drove a golf cart at our fairground the last 2 years and did volunteer work that my dad always did, and some of my
Oh.
lifetime memories, I'm not crying, of my father will be the hours at the fairgrounds that I grew up in, driving people around in the golf cart. And we've had
Oh.
conversations, and it ended up that we bought my dad a golf cart, and I have been on more golf cart rides this summer. We put the dogs in and we drive because he can ride it, and he owns all this property, and we're on the cornfields. I'm constantly like, okay, there's a hole. Watch out for this. Watch out. I'm his eyes and his ears, but the joy on his face, and
Oh.
it's his freedom. It's his only, I have clocked, like, I can't even tell you, every day I was there. I mean, he will say to my dogs, "You want to go for a cart ride?" And my dog runs to the door in the way she runs. Like those dogs, and I'm sure the neighbors were like, "What is going on? Here they come." And it's the two of us with dogs on our laps. It's insanity, but it has
Mm.
been such, I can't believe I'm not crying yet. It's an emotional thing that I literally ordered a Christmas ornament of a golf cart this year, and I'm doing an ornament for the
Oh,
end of the year, and I've done selfies with my dad and I and the dogs, and I'm
precious.
laminating and cutting it out and putting it on my tree because, like, that golf cart will be mine someday because
Yeah.
it's like his only joy. So that golf cart, if I had to assign glimmer, it was a glimmer in my dad's life this year.
Oh my
And
god.
it's like, it's overwhelming, but like, I never would have told you that in January.
Oh my god, that is beautiful.
So I'm very blessed. So some of the hardest, the progression of the Alzheimer's and just all the struggles and all the crazy and the fighting in our family and like just the insanity, those glimmers have just kept me alive. My furnace blew up this year. I had to put a whole new furnace in my house. It's been insanity. I could not, I had a well issue. I had to have my well pulled this year. Like, just when I would be like, I no longer say what could possibly happen next because it just keeps coming. I've had financial aid issues that, like, I'm like, "Oh my god, I have this huge balance and this isn't happening and my Pell Grant got changed." And then I got a scholarship because I pulled like the
Because you
glimmers
put
kept
effort
coming.
into it.
Right. I put my head down, I did the work, and it was like gifts kept falling, glimmers kept falling that it was like, keep going. Cause I'd be like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. How am I going to pay for classes and books and this and that? And then I got a scholarship. You know what I mean? It's like, and okay, great. Now I have to do this internship, 192 hours. I got to go work for free. I'm going to get put in some pediatrician office and I'm going to be telling kids, just tell them I gave you the shot. It's okay. Like, I can't do this. And then boom, the bariatric practice. I found a home there. Like, so I just keep your eye on the prize, through the good,
Yes.
the hardest parts have just that word of the year has got me through the year.
Really? That's
And
awesome.
the accountability of making the list every day, highlighting what I accomplished, and just showing up for myself every day.
I love it. I love that. And you're looking at what you did, not what you didn't do.
No.
Love it. So, you know what my biggest frustration or low of the year is? Freaking technology.
Oh,
Oh
don't
my
I?
God, Laura, I do not have whatever that is that people have that intuitively understand this nightmare. And yet, I want to be self sufficient. Not that I'm afraid to ask for help, but I don't want to, push everything off on everybody else. So I've been watching all the videos and doing the thises and, trying, asking the questions and watching more YouTube videos. And I swear to God, I don't
I
get it.
know.
I'm
But
trying. I
here's what we're
really
going
am.
to say. I know, but here's what we're going to say about that is this is also what BariAftercare is about. And this is also about lifestyle because like I don't have a perfect screensaver behind me. I just had to turn around and plug my computer in because it's almost dead. Like we have lived in a highly polished, highly perfected world, and I want reality TV isn't reality. And there is
Right.
something to be said about real people and real trials and tribulations and being on a video and being like, got to plug in. It's either that or I'm going to die. You know what I mean? Like, because people can relate. You know what I mean? Like, you've done daily takes inside of Barry Aftercare, and I'm like, there's no sound on here. And you're like, dang it. Like, you know what I mean? But you know what? That's what happens because I'm tired of perfect polished world. I
Yeah.
don't want to look at Instagram stories of the perfect bariatric patient that like look at me now and look at me after my surgery and look at me after my plastic surgery because you know what? I can name hundreds of patients that have disappeared
Yeah.
because we build these perfected worlds with the perfect goal weight, the perfect life, the perfect husband, the perfect this, and that's not real.
Right. Fake
That's not
book.
real.
So anyway, after we're finished here, I get to go re-record about 3 hours of videos because somehow I have a sound wave in the middle of the video because I wanted to make sure the sound was working. But now all you can see is the sound wave and not the morning stretches. Anyhow, so if I had to complain, what a great thing to be able to complain about, right? If
And not
that's
only that, you're gonna re-record it and you're gonna say something brilliant. There's a reason.
absolutely. And you know
There's a
what?
reason.
What a joy to have that as my low of the year. Although
Right?
I did have a really good allergic reaction to a medicine that affected my tendons, which affected my ability to do my beloved yoga. But I'm all good now.
Mhm.
So I had a good year and I'm grateful.
Sometimes you gotta slow down to speed up, right?
So true. So true.
So,
So how about your health and wellness? You've talked about that a little bit. Did you maintain your health and wellness goals?
well, no. Yes and no. What I did is I maintained showing up. I've gained 7 pounds this year. I am grateful it's not 57 pounds because I
Absolutely.
could have
'Cause of the
eaten the
stress?
world.
Yeah.
And if I go back and look, because I have a whole wall of my weigh-ins, and I write next to it, like this fall, I fell blowing leaves and jacked up my knee, had to have knee x-rays, like blew out my knee. It was all inflamed. So I can look every week and be like, oh, that's when my knee blew up. I gained 3 pounds there. No, I dropped another one here. So I will say that yes, I have maintained my health and wellness. I've not maintained exactly the weight, but with the things that I dealt with this year, I'm glad it's 7 pounds.
Mhm.
But I show up every week and I know what the number is every single
Mhm.
week. Um, I am going for a physical next week because I have to wait for my 1 year anniversary, but I'm going on Tuesday and I'm having all my blood labs pulled. I'm so I am proud of my health and wellness because it's stayed front and center. I have a whole
Absolutely.
year's worth of blood pressure. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I'm proud of the fact that I've managed it. Is it where I want to be? No, I don't have time to work out 2 hours a day. I don't have time to do the things I've done before because I'm keeping my dog alive and my dad alive. And and
Yeah.
it's my dad's health and wellness too. My dad's dog's blind and has to have drops every day and has glaucoma now. Like the amount of people I'm caring for, like
Yeah.
my health and what the fact that I am still here and checking in and sane, I will say, yes, I've maintained my health and wellness.
Say
It's
yes
not
too.
where I want to be.
Absolutely. Just monitoring your blood pressure given the amount of stress you have, I think is wonderful. And you have
Yeah.
gone to all your appointments, and I know darn well you've had plenty of dental work.
Oh my God. I had a tooth extracted. My face was blown. I forgot about that. See, if I go back in my pictures, it will show me that. And it's funny because the day I go for my physical, I'm also doing an impression for some dental work. So that's never
Mhm.
ending. Thank you,
Mhm.
bariatric surgery, because that's a big piece of it. But and the thing is I believe in proactive healthcare, period.
Mhm.
Like
Yep.
I make all the appointments. I show up
Yep.
from them because information is education. Like the more I
Absolutely.
know, the better I can live.
Yep, and I think that is such a priority, and, I have all my annual things, and every time I give blood, I post it. If you can,
Yeah.
please do. Every time I have my mammogram, it's booby check day, go check
Yep.
yours,
Yep.
I'm my colonoscopy, we're phone tagging, trying to get that sucker scheduled. I've done all the cardiac follow-up, all the lung follow-up this year, so absolutely. Now I'm currently working on lowering my cholesterol, so there you go.
Yep.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
would
Health
say
is a
yes to health and
priority.
wellness. Yep.
Okay, so how about that vision board? I have
Oh my God.
my word of the year, right in the smack dab of my vision board, which is right in front of me in my windowsill.
Vision boards are funny because I'm sitting here. Oh, let me see if I can unplug and I love vision boards. Like, I've done them so many different ways, and in our workshop, I showed because I keep them. Like, I have multiple vision boards around, and get ready because I'm doing it different this year, and I already bought my stuff for it. But
Woo!
my vision board this year was insane. It's that
Oh, wow.
monster behind me. Like, it's
That's
monster. I bought an
awesome.
antique old picture frame and I just filled with like this is my survival story, journey to freedom, reinvent. It's a game changer. Breaking barriers. I said girls changing the world, the pursuit of happiness. Like I literally look at there's things on my vision board. I wanted to go kayaking this year. I've never been kayaking and I did not do it. I did not do it. Enjoy my backyard. I did a lot of work. I got a new fountain in my backyard this year because I spent a
Oh,
lot of time in my house. Um, but I look at everything on there. Mentors on a mission. I have the queen on there because the queen died. Remember? Like, I mean,
yeah.
I look at everything on there, chasing happy things, like there's so many pieces of it, but there's a lot I didn't do. Like I
Mhm.
had on my vision board that the first week of December I was going to New York for Christmas. I used to go every year for Christmas. There's nothing like
Oh,
the Rockefellers. And I thought for sure I wouldn't have Lola anymore. There was no way I
wow.
projected Lola. And I literally on Friday, last Friday, my girlfriend Natty and I both had alerts on our phone like girls trip New York City. And it didn't happen. It was on both our vision boards
Oh,
and it's impossible.
it'll
I
happen
trust and
again.
believe. Finals were a nightmare. School was blowing up. My dad is a million times worse than he was back in January when we did vision boards. It is 100% impossible this year, but it's going back on next year's because
There you go.
we don't give up, right? So
That's
like my
right.
vision board, I'm doing it different because I've always done these big giant, well, not always, but this monster is fabulous and I love her. Like, why do I call her her? I don't know. I love her. But this year I'm doing it totally different in a different format. I'm super excited about it because I want it to be like this is behind glass and it took forever and it's beautiful. But I want to make like a fluid vision board. Like I want to do something
Yeah.
where every month I can set intentions and then
Oh, I
close it
like
out every month.
that. That's
and I'm
great.
doing it different. And I'm excited because I'm excited to workshop it and share it with people
Which we're
because
going to do. We're going to tell you all about what we got coming up for you in just a minute. But so, yeah, my vision board, again, first time I really ever did one of those that I kept front and center right in front of me every day. And it was so fun because I don't know if you remember, but last year when I did my vision board, I had the grandkids here. We had things spread out all over that table. And I was
yep.
just over at their house the other day, and Annie's vision board is right there on her wall. So we will be doing our vision boards together again this year. It was really fun. So,
I
and it
think it's
helped me.
magical.
I'll tell you the thing that the vision board helped me the most. Of course, right in the center is my word expand. But one of the big words on there was relax, which is a hard thing for me to do. And I have taken more naps this year. And after work, when I'm finished with my patients and before I get on to doing my BariAftercare work and stuff, I go out and I lay in my swing and I have napped out there. So it's been a great thing. So
You've
what's
done
up?
meditations on the lake.
Oh, I
You've
know.
relaxed. You've done a lot of work out on the water, on the boat. You've done a great
Yes.
job of relaxing. You are not a real, you and I both. I'm not a relaxer. I'm not a quiet,
Hmm.
calmer downer, but you have
Yeah,
done it this year.
I know. Who'd have ever thunk it? Anyway, so what do you got coming up for the new year? What are you looking forward to?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm buckled up. I'm thinking hard on my word of the year. I'm scared about 2025, if I want to be brutally honest. I
Sure.
can't believe I still have Lola, my pug.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I am very fearful of 2025, but I feel very in control of 2025. There are going to be a lot of things that are going to 1000% be completely uncontrollable.
yeah.
And it's about bobbing and weaving and figuring it out. And I've been very proactive in caring for my father and the things we've done. We're trying to keep him home as long as possible. I'm probably going to enter some not fun legal battles with power of attorneyness and things that need to be done to protect him and allow some of these things. I don't know. It's just, I'm buckling up, but I'm real crystal clear. And one of the biggest phrases, and everybody that knows me knows I have phrases. We know I love the phrase kindness is clarity. I believe in being crystal clear. Don't beat around the bush because all you're doing is setting yourself up for future problems. We know that I love the phrase, we all have choices, because at the end of the day, we can only control ourselves and it's never out of your control. You get to choose differently. I've always
Right,
believed that. And
right.
it's like, I'm thinking about my word of the year, but in 2025, there's a phrase that you and I fell in love with this year because of a podcast, and it's the let them theory. I have very much had to embrace that and let them. I can't change
Mel
them, but I
Robbins is who we're referring to. Mel
can.
Robbins.
And she did a podcast about a year ago, and it was a game changer for me.
Yep,
And
yep.
I kept saying it in my women's group that I'm in. I kept saying it to my mom, where like I think about it with siblings that don't show up and don't follow through and don't. I just keep saying, let them, let. I can't control them. Oh, God
Right.
knows I try, but I
Ah!
can't control them. I can control me. I can
Yep.
control how I act, how I react, because I'm a good reactor. Like,
Mhm.
let me show you is one of my favorite thoughts. Um, but
My
for
favorite
me,
thoughts.
it is. It's through my head, like, okay, you want to go that way? Let me show you how this is going to roll. But it's how I talk to myself, right? Like,
Right.
okay, so for me, looking at 2025, I know there's going to be curveballs. I know it's going to be stupid hard. I know I'm so close to graduation. I can smell it. I know that I need to go into this new opportunity that has great future possibilities. And I need to go in and be a student, but also go in and bring all of my game, bring all my powerhouse, bring all my experience, because this is a new footprint for me. It's a new career path within where my heart lies. And it's taken me 2 years to get here. So it's like I can smell graduation, but there's so many unknowns. Like, how am I gonna start a new job in this when my dad is needing more and more and more and more and more? So there's a
Yeah.
lot of unknowns.
Yeah,
I'm
for
very
sure.
excited.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a scary year for you and also very exciting. See where
But
that
I
all
know
goes.
my word is important because again, I need a power word, but not an obnoxious power word. Like I need something to focus me and center me and bring me back every day. Bring me back, bring me back. So my universe, I'm not a universe person. You know, I'm not woo woo, but I'm very much like word. I'm ready. Come find me because
Yeah.
I need to let people, I'm going to go back into a professional environment where I might not agree with all of it. I have a lot of PTSD from my old lives and I feel things and see it. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, not going down that road again. Like,
Right.
so I just need to be very centered
Yep.
and I
Yeah.
just need to let them, but I need to focus on me and I need to bring my magic. Let them do whatever they're going to do, but let me show you how I'm going to do me.
I love that. Yeah, one of the things, and I didn't think about this until I was, reflecting about the questions that you proposed for this podcast today. And when you look ahead to 2025, what feelings or sensations come up for you? And I thought every year, and it didn't occur to me till just doing this today. It was like I start my year with my entire family.
Mhm.
The first week of the year, we go to Hilton Head together. Every
Yep.
one of them, and that is and we've been doing it, I wanna figure out how many years, but it's between 15 and 20. So and every year that's with the now it's 15 of us, and we get on our bikes, and we have a train of 15 people riding bikes at Hilton Head, and that is such an amazing way for me to start the year, all together
Yeah.
with the people that mean so much to me, and, you know, I'm gonna tell you right now, this I don't know if I'm saying this with enthusiasm or dread, is the year of Disney. Now, Disney is not my happy place, but Disney is the happy place for my twin daughters and my son and my husband. They love them some Disney. I could be happy to not go to Disney again, but guess what we're doing this year? My daughters and my husband and myself have annual passes to Disney World, which means I already have in the calendar 7 or 8 scheduled trips to Disney because that's what we're doing with the kids for their birthdays. We're taking just the kid to Disney. So this may, and I'm having a very good attitude about it. I said, well, I get to be outside, I get to walk a lot, and I'll be with my favorite people. So
And you're
this,
going to be in the happiest place on earth, right?
well, there is that.
Okay, I'm going to challenge you though, because here's the thing about Disney, right? It's fairy tale land, it's Wonderland, whatever. But um, you also can approach it. There's a lot of life lessons in Disney. Every Disney movie teaches a child something.
So true.
So maybe we need to like put Disney trips and pick one
I
of the
love
Disney
it.
stories. And as you go, like it's the Snow White weekend, and what life lessons come out of it. Like,
That is a great, 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 great thing to do. So we just added to BariAftercare, and I'm telling you what, I have chosen, and I've told all my kids, I have chosen to have an amazing attitude about
yep,
my minimum of 10 trips to Disney World.
I want to see a different pair of ears on your head from every trip. That's a
Okay,
challenge.
it's a deal. So it's my year of Disney. And Steve and I have booked 2 trips for ourselves, just the 2 of us. So I'm excited about that.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So how has our community, and when I say our community, I mean it's bariatric community, but BariAftercare, we are developing such an amazing community, and I really want people to consider that their home group. The
Yep.
women you meet within your support group, wow, they have really um, connected with you and share things that are intimate about their lives with you. And so this year we're going to have a support group every week, and I'll actually be doing the support group 1 week this year. This year it was on Thursday every month, and I was gone out of
There
town
you go.
almost every month. Thank you so much, Kalisha, for sitting in for me. Anyway,
Yeah. I think the community has given me a safe, grounded space. Like I show up with no makeup. I show up with ponytails. I've showed out up talking about my furnace blowing up and my well blowing up. I've showed up talking about picking up sticks. I've showed up talking about my dad, talking about the thing I love about Barry Aftercare and community is the people that share, like some of the group members that do support group and do different pieces, we all show up differently. We
Mhm.
all are in different seasons of our lives, different chapters of our lives, and we're all post up. And so, like, my friend Kevin shows up and he's in California and he's been battling his recane and he's working with GLP, ones, like, and he shares open and honestly every
Yep.
Friday. Kalisha shares, we have a new person that's joined in with us. What I love is that if I was a member in Barry Aftercare, I see it all. I see 20-year Laura crazy,
Yes.
lunatic. I see her caring for her father. I see her at 50 some years old going back to school full time to pivot her whole entire career. Like, I feel like you can show up in Barry Aftercare and find some hint of something that is. So for me, I will say the biggest thing for community for me is it gave me accountability. I showed up every Monday, whether I wanted to, whether I didn't want to, whether, support groups. There's been weeks where I'm like, dear, take the wheel because I don't know how. We're going to get
Yeah.
through it, but then I have another 4 hours of homework and I still would talk for 2 hours with everybody. Like, because it was my safe space. It was my getaway space. It was I can talk about the challenges and fears and how scared I am with the whole Alzheimer's. As I was learning, I know bariatrics. I don't know Alzheimer's. I don't know dementia, and neither
Yeah.
do most of the programs out there. Like, you
Right.
know, and so, and in community, I took care of my dad. I took my grandmother lived with us, like, buy a dementia clock, go do this, read this book. Like, it was a safe place and it was a learning place because someone out there's walked it. It doesn't matter what it is. Someone else has walked it.
And you know what? I love your enthusiasm for learning, and we both share that. We're both such book nerds. You know, I love the Barry Aftercare community. And man, this podcast has made me really think about some things I hadn't thought about. But to me, this is my baby. This is my 20 years of learning about bariatrics and bringing in my knowledge from other areas in psychology and the other work that I have done, and knowing that people out of bariatric surgery or, you know, significant weight loss from any way, it's a different world. And I know from my own experience that you need people there with you to teach you the things that are related to the emotions, the psychological things, the life stressors that get in the way, because stress is the number one reason people turn to food. And
Yep.
so, dealing with all of those things, we do go beyond bariatrics and we are so comprehensive. You've got the 20 years of experience. Tabitha is a post op who is also a marriage and family therapist. So, there's a really great angle. Shay is a post op who also has a degree in psychology and is also bringing in a lot of adventure. And that woman is not afraid to be vulnerable. Kalisha, holy moly,
Right.
she, you know, talk about wanting to learn. That woman, she goes deep and she is wise. That woman has so much
Yep.
wisdom. And Kevin, being so vulnerable and so open, well, you and I have both known him for so long, and he is such a good human. So
Yep.
we have some really amazing people. And my daughter, Kelsey, I mean, between the two of you, you put this thing together in a way that makes it make sense. And I'm so, so grateful to you. But this community gives me purpose, it gives me enthusiasm. It's what I look forward to. And then I have one other kind of community that is important to me, and I'm in a women's group. And just because I'm not from the Atlanta area and I really don't have any friendships here, and so it gives me some women to connect with. Even though we don't hang out a lot or whatever, I know I'm going to see them and talk with them regularly. So community is really, really important, and I'm grateful for this one. Now,
Yep.
you have been the ringleader at large for this accountability part of bariatric care. And here's one of my hopes for the next year is that we can encourage our people in bariatric care to become more active online. This accountability business is crucial. And I'm going to share with you, after you share, how important this accountability piece has been and how much it has done for me in terms of getting things done.
Yep. It's funny because in BariAftercare, for those of you listening, every Monday there's a post that goes up. It says, "This week I hold myself accountable to," and you're supposed to fill it in. And every week I put a scale shot and I have a whole history. Somebody could look and see how much weight I gained, lost every week of 52 weeks of the year. And I've done blood pressure and I've done that. And I also have had weeks where I've been like house projects, cleaning my basement, doing this. Like I've shared and done check marks. And I've solid for 3 things every week. But then there's been weeks where I'm alive. I'm I'm gonna do all my homework this week on time. I'm gonna,
Mhm.
get my project done but the thing is it is also the scariest post in the room. And
Yes.
every week I talk about it. Every Monday when I do my daily take in there, I'm like, "Good morning," and I ask. There are 3 things every week. I'm like, "How was your weekend? What'd you do? Where'd you go?" And I talk about what I did. And even though I was at my dad's, I talk about the pigs tearing up the yard. I talk about crazy crap I live in, you know. But we talk about that. We talk about accountability, and then we talk about the word of the week. That's my daily take every week. And we just and being vulnerable is hard for people. Being
Yes.
accountable when it comes out your mouth,
Mhm.
it's real.
Yes.
We all think, okay, I really need to do this today. I need to do that today. But when you say it out loud and you type it, other people could look for it. Other people could, and it is the biggest opportunity for Barry Aftercare. And if you do it, it'll make the biggest difference in your life. And I do think about you and the cleaning the office and cleaning things that you were like, and I'm sure you were like, why did I write that down? Because you and I very much are, I'm going to lead by example. So
Yes.
sometimes I would put myself under the bus. Like, I'm putting this in here because if I don't do it, and nobody's probably paying attention, but in my head they are. They're all
Yeah.
going, "Did she do it this week?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, it was like we don't want to disappoint we won't disappoint other people, but we'll disappoint ourselves.
Yeah. Let me tell you, that singular post every week has helped me get more things done than I can even tell you. It's
Yep.
been clean out my desk drawers, clean out the cubby in the front panel, clean out that laundry room, clean out the junk drawer in the kitchen. So I have used it to do little projects that otherwise I would just completely ignore. And I cannot tell you how much better I feel when I like no clutter. And
Yep.
my desk right now is a disaster. So that might be this week's, right? Because it clutters up so dang quickly.
Yep.
Oh, but I
Yep.
love those. I mean, one week it was like, I'm going to deep clean my exercise room. Oh my God, that was glorious. I didn't realize how many dust bunnies there were in there.
Because the thing is, it's scary to put it out there, but there's nothing better than the check mark.
Oh my
It's
God,
like, "Good job, Laura. Good job,
I
Laura. Good
love it.
job, Connie." Like, and then when people in the room are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe how much you do in a week," or "Good job," or "It looks amazing," because we encourage everybody to share pictures and to show us what you did. And the before, we always think the before and the after. It's like a weight loss thing. It's not. It's Connie's
Yeah.
desk train wreck and after because our life is a before and after. It
Yeah,
is everything we do. The beginning of the
yes.
semester, here's the books. Here's the books done. No grade, A. You know what I mean? There's a before and after in
Exactly.
everything we do in our life. Christmas tree undecorated, bam, Christmas tree decorated. It's celebrating success is why.
Hey, speaking of Christmas trees, I want to tell you something. So last year when we had the Very Merry Christmas here, the women who came here were talented and gifted decorators. And so I said, "Here, I'm going to give you money. Go out and buy stuff and make my house pretty for Christmas." Because forever it's just been, the slap on stuff for the windows at the Dollar Tree and whatever, just the kids' stuff. Well, the kids are old enough now. I'm like, I want, I have a beautiful room and I want that beautiful room beautiful for Christmas. And it was gorgeous last year. The one thing that I wanted was more stuff on the Christmas tree. Again, I have no decorating skills. So I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So my good friend does have decorating skills. So she said, let's do a Zoom call and I will show you how to decorate your tree. I'll show you how to put ribbon. I'll show you how to do this. I have a gorgeous freaking tree. That I did myself, and I am going to post a picture of it in our room in BariAftercare because I'm proud of taking that risk. And on YouTube, I saw this thing about how to make a Thanksgiving centerpiece, and I'm like, I think I could do that. And I did, and it was glorious.
It was glorious, and the sunflowers, like, made my heart blow up.
I'm telling you, I have never I was like, hell has frozen over. I have created. And I liked what I created.
That's because, like, look at me. I'm going to give you, because the language matters. When you say I'm not creative, like, you are too. You are too. You just got to find your creative. And at that confidence level, I'm going to watch this and look what I made. When you sent that to me, I was like, girl, that's beautiful. Like,
I know, I'm so proud of myself.
I know. And when you get that feedback, that's what BariAftercare happens. Like, and it's not, look how much weight I lost this week. Look how much weight. I mean, that's part of the bariatric surgery. I want to hear about all the rest. Look at the date I went on. Look at the kayaking adventure I went on. That's why I love the lifestyle piece of it, because you are not a scale. You are not a number on the scale. It is about the whole creative life. I went back to school. Look at the grade I got. Like, we celebrate that. But you don't get there if you're not accountable, putting effort towards it.
We live our life every day, right? And so that's what BariAftercare is about. What did you do today? And how did you get out of your comfort zone? I made a centerpiece. I decorated my tree. I cleaned out a closet I haven't touched in 10 years. Whatever it is, it's daily life, celebrating your willingness to put forth effort.
Yeah.
So
it's powerful. Like, at 20 years out, it's so funny because I've had people say really rude things to me. Like, I don't need that. Like, people have said, like, this week, I posted a picture of my mom and we went to see Wicked. And which, by the way, I'm so Elphaba. Like, I want to be Glinda. I have crowns. I love glitter and wands. And I always go, I live in a pink bubble. I say that all the time. But I am so Elphaba. Like, I will get on my stick. I will fly. And
you are.
I
I
will go
love
my
that
own way.
movie. Oh my God, I can't wait to go see it again soon.
Right. But the thing about, like, I had somebody literally, so I posted a picture of my mom and I at Wicked, because I never post on, I don't have time for my own personal social media.
Right.
And I never post. And I took a picture of my mom and I was like, which one's the good witch and which one's the bad one? Because we all know the answer. I am the green girl. And so it was funny. But then underneath, somebody literally wrote on my Facebook page, do you still do scale shots?
It
And I
matters.
loved her for saying that, because I literally said, I do. And I answered her. I said, I do, but I do it in community. Not, I'll put it on my public page. There's no shame in my game. But I realized, just like with your word of the year, I'm going to expand inside. Inside BariAftercare, everybody knows everything about my life.
Yes.
But you know what Brene Brown once said? Not everybody's entitled.
That's so true also, right? Right. And the other thing she says is, shame cannot survive where you have people who will listen to you with compassion. And that's what we have in BariAftercare. I have never seen a snarky comment in there. Not one time.
Nope.
It's all support.
Yep.
Well, people need to join our BariAftercare program. So you give us that scoop.
They do. So what I'm really excited, and that's why we were doing this podcast, even though we just talked about our lives for an hour, is that we're doing the exact same thing we did last year. We are doing a promotion for year end. I hate New Year's resolutions. It's set up for failure every year.
Exactly.
I put intentions. We pick a word of the year and we create a vision and we talk about the life we want to create in 2025. In 2025, I want to go kayaking, go to New York City. Like, we dream. We are creative, however that looks for you, but we all pick a word of the year and we do it together as a group. So everybody that's currently in BariAftercare is invited to the workshops. It's part of the programming in BariAftercare. But if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, I don't even know what BariAftercare is, we did this last year and it's ridiculous what we do. We are doing a promotion that for 2 months, literally for is it $19.99? I don't even know. It's $19.99.
Mm-hmm.
You get access to BariAftercare for January and February. Full access for $20. And it
Mhm.
gives you all the things Connie talked about. You get the daily takes, the daily affirmations, a weekly support group. You get yoga, you get working out, you get friends and family. The list goes on and on. All the programming that already exists. But we do 3 workshops where we do a Zoom link and everybody jumps on. And the first workshop that we do is Word of the Year. And we set the intention. We talk about why we do it. We brainstorm and we give everybody the opportunity to come back in a couple of weeks with their word and we
Mhm.
share. So we do word of the week or word of the year. We do word of the year for 2025. The second workshop we do is vision board. And last year I showed all the different ones and I'm going to keep it under control. And I will show you how I'm doing it this year because we come together and we talk about now that you know your word of the year, how do we put it to action? And let's build a vision board. Let's put all those things that you're dreaming about and that might be real, might not be real, might be something you check off. It might be a 5-year goal. Like it could be far fetched. It could be an accountability of in the month of January, I'm going to do this. Your vision board is yours, but we creatively talk about it and we push each other to dream big and
Mhm.
make big statements. I'm going to go back to
Yeah.
school. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go on vacation. Connie's going to learn how to love Disney. We're going to, we put things out there and we put it on the vision board. So next year you can come into this podcast and be like, how was your year? How did the word serve you? Well, look at your vision board. Did it come true? What was good? What was bad? What was unexpected? But the third workshop, last year we talked about how to reverse engineer your goals. But this year we're doing something new and I'm so excited
Me
about it.
too.
We're doing a book review. So we are setting the intention and we are together going to read a book. And then the last workshop is going to be a book review or think book club. We're going to all come together, but all month long in January and February, there's going to be posts on each of the chapters. So you've got 2 months to read this book, but there'll be engagement. Every week it'll be a chapter and we'll be chit chatting. But in February, we're going to all come together. And the third workshop is going to be a book review of Mel Robbins' new book called Let Them. It's the Let Them theory.
And I
Because
bought mine already or
so did
pre-ordered
I.
it.
And it's going to get delivered on Christmas Eve. Does it get any
Oh,
better?
that is
It's like
awesome.
Santa's dropping it. And it's on sale right now. So we're going to give you the links to it. But we're going to take that book because Connie told you 2025 is creating the life you dream of living. It doesn't happen without accountability. It doesn't happen without effort. But the other thing is it doesn't happen if you don't focus on yourself. And this whole
Right.
let them theory is we need to learn to let people do them.
Yes,
You do
and
you, boo.
right. And quit focusing on doing everything for everybody else. Let them, and you do you. And BariAftercare, even though we just talked about our lives for a year, for an hour, it's all the things we do in BariAftercare. So we're just kind of showing you these are the awesome insights that you can glean and so much more. This is a really great program. So $19.99 for January and February, and it's usually $40 a month, right? But if you do this January, February thing, and only if you do that, then you get it for $14.99 for the rest of the year. The rest of
Like
the
I
year.
can't even $14.99 for the rest of the year. $15, that's like going out to lunch. Like
Not even.
$15 where if you
Yeah,
joined any other time, it would be $40 a month. Like, come
right.
on. Like, literally, aren't you worth I mean, I can go on a tangent.
I know.
I you can listen to me talk every Monday. That's worth $15. No,
That is worth $15. You got that right.
just think of my life as a soap opera. I am the young and the restless. Every
Oh,
Monday, I'm cheaper than your cable bill.
enough said. Enough said.
But seriously, though, the whole let them theory, like that book club within itself is worth of 19.99 because we obsess about changing other people. Well, you know what he did? Do you know what she said to me? Do I blah 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 blah. If he wouldn't do this, I let them. Let the family do what they're going to do. Let your kids do what they're going to do. Let your husband or your wife do what they're going to do. The only person you can control is you.
Yeah.
We all have choices. So you let them and then you choose better for you.
Yes. So we can't wait to see how many of you invest in yourself because this is your whole life. It's not just what you weigh. It is
Yeah.
your entire life. And we work on helping you with your communication, setting those boundaries to let them. Laura's going to continue to talk about lifestyle. I'm going to talk about addiction every month. There will be a daily video to help you think in a clear and positive way about where you want to go, where you're headed. So we're going to help you create the life you dream of living in Barry Aftercare all through 2025. So we're hoping you join us.
Absolutely. And if you have questions, message us, but that support is always in your pocket. Wherever you go, Barry Aftercare. You're waiting for an appointment, you can check in. You're having a bad day, don't want to talk about it, you're letting everybody do their thing, you can go into Barry Aftercare. It is your safe lockdown community where you can find all the support you need.
That's right. Laura, thank you for how you organize Barry Aftercare and how you have kept me afloat in
Well,
this.
thank you for giving me a home. For the last couple of years, it's been my sanity. It's been my way of being in community without being everywhere.
And she says that all the time. So this is a very genuine statement that Laura makes. All right, friends. $19.99. You got to sign up by, what did we decide? The end of December.
December 31st. Yep.
Yep.
You're going to be added to the room the first week of January, and that workshop will come out that gate, and we're going to be picking your word of the year.
I look forward to it. All right, you enjoy your time off school, your very short time off school. Catch up with your life a little bit. Keep doing all the amazing stuff you're doing. And thank you, friends, for being part of this podcast. Please share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the full Barry Aftercare program, BARI aftercare.com. Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.